Hey, good morning, everyone. Brian Hoops here, Midwest Market Solutions. This is our Market Insider TV and our opening commentary. Monday, October the 20th. Hope you had a great weekend and are looking forward to today's trade activity. Overnight markets, we're seeing dollar index a little bit firmer here this morning. Natural gas is gapped higher Sunday night and has rallied pretty extensively. Meanwhile, crude oil futures just cannot recover. Any recoveries expect to be sold in this market. Seasonals are lower for nat gas and crude oil is really struggling. Stock market is higher, and look at gold this morning. Wow, 118 points higher. Silver had a big sell-off on Friday. It was at 335, 345 at one time lower, and now is recovering. But look at this gold market really surging this morning. And corn down a half cent by the closing bell. Beans up 8 3/4, with meal up almost $4, and the wheat fractionally lower. Let's talk about markets here this morning, and we invite you to check us out online at MidwestMarketSolutions.com, where you can sign up for our daily newsletters, our YouTube videos, our Twitter feed, text service, that sort of thing. All right. More news here this morning to talk about, and let's get started talking about weather in South America. Good rains have fallen across northern Brazil and into Argentina, where they're planting corn and beans. The conditions are nearly ideal in South America at this point in time. The U.S. harvest is progressing on an expected normal type pace, and we will not have crop progress this afternoon. But there will be a Bloomberg survey that'll give us kind of an estimate of where we should be, or where at least some of the analysts expect that they will be. We participate in that survey, and I've heard we are going to have a cattle and feed report this Friday. I've heard we're going to have CPI report this Friday as well, and cold storage, all coming out this Friday, despite the government offices being shut down. So planting in Brazil, soybean planting, we're 22% done. Average is only 18, so a little bit ahead of pace there. First corn planting, 54% complete, right in line with the average of 55. And in Argentina, corn planting is now 26% complete versus 23 on average. So we're running just a little bit ahead of normal for both Brazil and Argentina at this time. And the weather does look very favorable for continued planting, and they are expanding their acreage in South America this year. So we are up against that. They continue to expand acreage almost every year, and this year is no exception. StoneX estimates funds are now short 91,000 contracts of corn after, as of last Tuesday or Friday's report. There was no report on commitment traders, and this is where they estimate the funds are actually at. They are long over 19,000 contracts of soybeans, short 105,000 meal, long 16,000 bean oil, short almost 150,000 contracts of Chicago and Kansas City wheat combined. It's the soybean long that's getting a little notice with the trade, that they are now starting to poke their head out of the short positions and get long in soybeans, despite the lack of a Chinese trade agreement, on hopes that we will have an agreement. President Trump is set to announce tariffs against Colombia today. They are the third largest U.S. buyer of corn, and said the U.S. is considering buying beef from Argentina. On Friday, we saw a gap lower in the cattle markets and sharply lower trade, in fact, limit down in the feeder cattle. We'll have expanded limits today. I think we should have some sort of recovery here, as he clarified that they're expected buying beef from Argentina, which was one of the rumored possibilities, as we had given some money to Argentina to help out their economy, and we are seeing that now translate into maybe some purchases of U.S. beef. Light trade developed in most northern dressed areas on Friday, marked at $3.72, so $9 better than a weighted weekly average in Nebraska. Southern Dales are about $2.40. That's $5 higher in Kansas than the previous week's transactions. We saw asking prices $2.42 in the south and $3.75 in the north kind of get passed as trade matured on Friday. So we'll see if we get any cleanup deals, but we do expect to see a recovery this morning in the cattle futures. All right, have a great day, everyone. Good luck and good trading. This has been Brian Hoops from Midwest Markets. I'll be on RFD TV this morning talking about the markets. Hope you have a chance to tune in.